Are you eating frozen meals for lunch again?
Yeah.
It's not good for your health. Did you have an argument with your wife or something?
Uh, um, Today, too, my lunch is a $4 frozen meal, and I haven't been in an argument with my wife. When it's time for my lunch break, I use the $5 my wife gives me every day to go buy a frozen meal at a nearby convenience store. It's always the same thing. With only $5 at a small store, I can only buy the spaghetti and meatballs bowl. Every 3 days, I treat myself with the coins I saved up. It sounds like what a high school student would do, doesn't it? To be honest, it's hard to save up. I wish prices wouldn't go up anymore. It's miserable. Even though I've reached around the middle of my career and the newer members are becoming more dependent on me, it's already been 4 years since my wife stopped making me lunch. We've been married for 5 years, and this is probably just a rough patch, as they say. My wife quit her job to become a housewife and move with me to my new job, so I couldn't come down hard on her. She stopped making lunch for me about a year after our marriage, when she started working part-time at a supermarket near the train station. A little while after that, my wife started to say she wanted to buy a small car. We live so close to the station. Do you really need it?
If you say you don't need it, you don't need your motorcycle either. I'm saying this because I need it.
When she said this, I knew I had to give in. Of course, I didn't make that much money. I sold the bike I'd been riding since college and bought a small car. I should have known then. 4 years ago, on that day, I sold the motorcycle I loved so much and became solely a working creature. I was completely under my wife's thumb, but I'm still happy. Not everybody gets a wife they can go home to. I'm a dependable co-worker at work too. I am happy. I am happy. I am happy. That's what I told myself. But 4 years ago, that day, my wife had already betrayed me. To go straight to the conclusion, my wife was having an affair at that point. The affair partner was a college student at the supermarket in front of the station. He was basically a toy boy. Apparently, the car was to go on a trip with him. At the time, I was depressed from the loss of my bike, so I became passionate about my work to forget about it. My boss thought highly of me. I was on the verge of a promotion, so I was in a pretty good mood. Even the $5 meal didn't bother me in the beginning. Rather, I saw it as a positive thing. Are you eating frozen meals for lunch again? Yes, I am. It's not good for your health if you do that every day. Are you and your wife both working? Nah, this is the best way. My wife has started working recently, and she seems very active and happy. I see. Well, I guess people are like that these days. It is true that my wife has been kinder to me since we bought the car. I felt like my life had become more balanced. I even thought it was good that I bought her a car. I was really happy to experience an ideal marriage. One Sunday, it was rare, but I got into the car. The car was mostly my wife's car. We lived in an apartment in front of the station, so we could walk to the convenience store. But on that day, I really wanted to go to a Mexican restaurant, so I got in the car for that. The night before, my wife had gone out for a drink with a friend from her part-time job. She came home later than I went to bed, so she was still sleeping even though it was 11 a.m. I felt bad to wake her up, so I quickly got up and got in the car. She can't park backwards, so she always parks facing forward. When I turned around to back up, there was a lighter I didn't realize in the back seat. I don't know how long it's been since I've seen a lighter since I don't smoke. My wife doesn't smoke either. I don't understand. What was the lighter for? I saw the logo and searched for it on my phone. It was unmistakably a name of a motel. I froze for a moment while looking at my phone. At times like this, it looks like human beings take normal actions. As I went to the Mexican restaurant as planned, I don't remember the taste of the tacos I ate though, and when I got home, I couldn't get out of the car. Calm down. Try to act normal for the time being. I opened the front door, nervously, but my wife was taking a shower. I hid the lighter in my bag that I used to go to work.
Oh, I didn't notice you came home.
Oh, hey.
Where have you been?
I messaged you. I went to eat some Mexican food.
You'll get fat. You're not young anymore. You should think about your body more.
Yeah, I know. But it's okay once in a while, right? When my wife came out of the shower, she surprisingly had a normal expression on her face. This is what women are. I was impressed. I'm going for a walk. In the evening, after saying this to my wife, I left the house. I couldn't bear to stay at home. I don't know how far I walked. I only remember that I walked a lot. And all the while, all I had in my head was that lighter. When the sun had already set, I finally got tired of walking and decided to sit on a park bench and watch the fountain in a daze. No, wait, why am I afraid of her? To say the least, she's the one who's under suspicion. If you think about it, it's my wife who's at fault. There's nothing wrong with what I have been doing. I'm not in any way to blame. I've been keeping my wife first. To believe that I was happy, but she betrayed me. I should be more angry than I am. No one would blame me. I hired a detective for the first time in my life. I'd only ever thought of detectives as the great detectives of cartoons and novels, but they were unexpectedly plain and conservative. Nonetheless, they were good people who took me seriously. After just 2 weeks, I got a call from the detective, and I made my way to his office. And there it was. Piles and piles of evidence. I couldn't help but laugh.
It's rare that we get so much evidence so easily. She makes no sign of hiding it.
The photos captured our car making its way into the motel. My wife was secretly meeting a young college student who works at the same supermarket several times a week. This is more than enough. Then, the detective showed me the young college student's social networking accounts on his tablet.
Do you know what this picture is of?
It's a picture from a trip. Is it Colorado?
Yes, and isn't that your wife reflected on the glass in the back?
The date is 4 years ago. Come to think of it, I remember she said she was going on a 3-day trip to the hot springs with a friend from work. Right about that time, I was working hard to forget my sold-off bike. Also, I had just been praised by my boss, so I agreed when my wife asked about the trip. I didn't even think about it. So, she was all ready. Yes, I'm sure of it. I was going home with a grin on my face the whole way. To the people around me, I might have appeared to be a pretty suspicious man, but I no longer cared what other people thought. When I opened the front door, I was greeted by my wife with a smile.
Welcome home.
I hugged her. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, what's wrong?
I know you've been working part-time for us to make my life a little bit better. Thank you. I love you. I lied to my wife for the first time, and I continue. Tomorrow, would you be willing to make me lunch? It's been a while since the last time.
Why?
Please?
Well, I have to work and I'll be tired. I won't have time to make lunch.
Just tomorrow. I'm begging you. It reminds me of when we got married.
Okay.
The next day, my wife made me lunch as I asked. She looked pretty sleepy and pretty irritated. I did my best to show my appreciation. Thank you for being so understanding of me. Sorry to trouble you from the morning.
No problem.
And then I headed to work in high spirits. Frankly, I couldn't get any work done that day, and I didn't eat my wife's lunch and bought the $5 meal as usual. In the evening, I left work earlier than usual. As soon as I opened the front door, my wife came rushing to me.
You took the car keys, didn't you?
Did I?
Oh my god, I used the car to go to my job. Please be careful next time.
You could take the bus, or even walk there.
I need to do some shopping before I head home, so...
You don't shop every day.
It's not that simple.
What's so bad about not having a car?
It's bad.
Of course it is.
If you know what I mean, then...
It's easier to get to the motels around here by car.
What? What are you talking about?
I slammed the pictures the detective gave me on the floor. As soon as my wife saw the pictures, she started to panic.
What is this? There are plenty of other cars just like ours.
Well, you can see the license plate right on the picture. Pick it up and take a good look. When my wife bent down to pick up the picture, I threw the leftover lunch at her. Don't you dare lie to me. You've been cheating on me for 4 years. I've been looking into it all. She was on the floor, crouched down. She couldn't get up for a while.
Are you eating frozen meals for lunch again?
Yeah. It's not good for your health. That's for sure. How about we go out for a good meal somewhere together next time? I'll buy you a drink.
Really?
I heard you ride a motorcycle, right?
Yeah, I do.
I ride one too. How about we go touring with our bikes next time?
I'd love to.
Needless to say, I got a divorce after that. She paid me alimony and I used the money to buy a new bike. She was willing to leave with almost nothing, but I didn't even want to touch that car anymore, so I had her take it with her. The wind feels good. I feel a load off my mind. Now, I can go about my day without having to tell myself I'm happy. I asked the detective what happened to my wife. I heard that she broke up with that young college student right away, that he had found another younger woman suited for him. I have no plans to remarry for a while. I think I'll just enjoy my single life for the time being. Just because you're married doesn't necessarily mean that you're happy. I guess the 4 years with that car was a nightmare for me. I'm going to ride my favorite bike, eat what I'd like, and live the life I want.
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you again. Please subscribe to our